Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Stocks by Request, where we uh, break down, analyze the top stocks that you have requested via social media. So I'm back in the Philippines. We're here in the south of Manila. You know, we're in the south. We have roasters growing or creating their own sounds. No, so it's nice to be back in the Philippines. It's a bit hot, but this is where the action is. So I'm gonna break down five stocks or five most requested stocks. So for those who are new to this YouTube channel or this page, just subscribe to get updated on what's happening on the Philippine Stock Exchange and what's happening on the market. So these are not stock picks. These are the stocks that you requested, and we're trying to analyze them and break them down to give you a further understanding on what's happening in the market, so you get the right decision, you get to analyze it, you get to validate it. Open your charts as we start to do this, and I hope these videos help you reach your goals of financial freedom. The first stock I like to talk about, this is also requested by a good friend, Bernadette Reyes, GMA7. Thank you for asking this video. This portion of the video is for you, and I've got a lot of questions also about this stock. I'm talking about Bloomberry. I'm talking about Bloom. Bloom has made an extensive run from where it was last year. No, it was around 5 pesos just a few months ago last year, but now it's now pushing up. It's still in its uptrend. From a position trading standpoint, though, for those who are following the trend, all position trading oscillators and indicators are still showing us that the stock is in an upward push. The stock is still in an uptrend. There's no reversal signals yet for position traders for the stock. So if you're a position trader, there's no urgency to sell yet, as we are not seeing any evident reversals yet telling you to sell the stock for this point in time. However, for quick traders, though, I've mentioned in previous videos uh, that there is a resistance at around 14 pesos per share. I repeat that there is a resistance at 14 pesos per share. So why am I saying this? In spite of short-term moving average showing us it's still bullish and there's no reversals yet, hence no sell signals yet to be placed, 14 pesos is a resistance. So if it may experience some sort of hesitation moving up, you can expect the stock to have some sort of resistance. And if you're a quick trader, it would be prudent for you to take profits in the stock. So Bloom, watch out at the 14 peso level. Fails to break out of 14, you may take profits. If it fails to break out for 14, it can go back to a support of around 12.9 pesos per share. I repeat, failure to break out of 14, it can retrace and go back to around 12.9 pesos per share over the short term. However, let's zoom back and zoom out a bit, because should Bloom break out of 14.2, I believe it can challenge the strongest resistance, which is at around 16 pesos per share. Interesting, because Bloom has never broken out of 16 pesos for the last, I don't know, 4+ years already. So if it has a chance to do it, we can actually see Bloom break and move up and create new historic highs should it break past the 16 peso level. So breakout from 14, target price is 16. Failure to break out of 14, the stock could retrace back to around 12.9, 12.8 pesos per share over the short term. As of this point in time, Bloom has no sell signal yet for position traders, as the stock is still bullish. Next, I'd like to talk about Ayala Corp. Ayala Corp, as you all know, over the short term. Yesterday there was a strong bullish push, large green candle, which caused a lot of price and momentum oscillators to start to tick up. So with that happening, you can expect Ayala Corp to challenge and push towards its highest high of around 1,112. So if you are a quick trader and you bought because the stock stayed above the 1,020 price range, I repeat, if you are holding Ayala Corp and you bought it because of the bounce and it stayed up from 1,020, please take note of the highest point at 1,112. This serves as its resistance. A failure to break out of that level can trigger a sell signal for you. So those who bought at 120, if it fails to break out of 1112, you may take profits as well for the stock. If it goes back though and fails to hold 1,020, I think the stock can retrace and go back to around 945 pesos per share, and that's where the stronger support is for the stock. For position traders though, the prevailing trend is still there. As long as 945 will hold, Ayala Corp will still be in its upward projection. So 945 for position traders, watch out for that level. If it stays at that level, you can expect the trend to still continue. but you can expect though also over the short term for it to challenge the 1112 resistance as what we're seeing as of this point in time. Next, Golden Haven, the the wonder stock for a lot of people. If there's a lot of news on PXP, if there's a lot of news uh, on now causing the stock to move up. Prior to all of those things happening, Golden Haven has been raking it over the past few weeks. Now, you all know there was a breakout at 22 at the start of the year at some point in January, and it started to move up and progress up with that. But we're now seeing a resistance form at around 180 pesos per share to around 179 pesos per share. If you are a quick trader, I've mentioned this already. The hesitation there can be already a point for you to take profits. It can be a point already for you to sell because you could have transferred it to either now or PXP and made money off of that as well. What's nice about quick trading is when you see stocks hesitate to go up, you can transfer it into stocks that are reversing and are breaking out. So if it fails, again, I mentioned this in some videos, fails to break out of 180, the next strong support is 100. So you have to remember this when it comes to stock trading, when it comes to technicals, when stocks fail to break from the resistance, it will find the next support, which is for this is 100. So it's a bit strong, a bit deep because there hasn't really been any support ranges that have been forming for Golden Haven. From a trend perspective, long-term moving averages and price indicators are still showing that the trend is still bullish and is still headed up for this point in time. So we've had Bloom, Ayala Corp, we have a gaming company, a conglomerate, and we have a company that's involved in memorial lots and memorial services for their clients. Now, let's go to consumption. Let's go to Shakey's. Let's go to pizza. Shout out to, I forgot her name, but she was one of our attendees in Stock Smarts Dubai. She approached me after the session and asked, because we didn't have time to tackle Shakey's in the sessions that we had. No, we didn't have time to talk about it. But when she approached me, we looked at all the parameters. Price and momentum indicators are bullish. Momentum is still there. Moving average is still pointing up, denoting that there is movement in the stock upward. There's no that the trend is still headed up. There's no sell signal. We also saw the candlesticks. Large green candle followed by indecision followed by another large green candle, denoting that there is still an uptick. There's still a price movement in the direction towards the north. So why am I saying this? You are a position trader, similar to the previous stocks that I mentioned. No sell signal yet. You can hold on to the stock. There's no reversal yet. There's no indication that the stock is starting to reverse. That there's no indication yet that we can see it go down. It's still progressing in its upward trend. Next, for quick traders though, the channel prior to the breakout out, no, there was a breakout at 15.7 pesos per share. That came from the 14.7 to 15.7 channel. So with that also, the stock is now in our soft target price for quick trading. Why am I saying this? There may be a soft target at around 6.8, 6.9 pesos per share. So if you see some sort of hesitation, you see the stock fail to progress higher, it can be a take profit signal already for quick traders for this stock. So just to recap, pizza, position trading, no sell signal yet. The trend is still up. Indicators are still showing you a bullish progression upward. From a quick trading perspective though, there's a soft target. It's not yet a resistance, and there's no evidence yet that there's a hard time for the stock going up. But based on the way we computed it, there's a soft target price as of that point, as of that period in time. And lastly, MPI last Wednesday suffered a large drop. News item of this was the government was trying to annul the decision of MPI, because MPI, based on the contract, they were supposed to. It's part of the contract. They're supposed to raise rates, which should be valid, but the government is trying to intervene. They don't want to raise rates. Negative news for the stock, but for me, it does not. As of this point in time, does not impact fundamentals yet. That large drop for investors should have been a buy signal for you. If you are an investor, this has nothing to do with stocks by request, but if you're an investor, MPI remains to be a good company. That's cheap, that's growing, that's part of every aspect of in terms of being a defensive stock. It fits it very much. So that big drop warrants a large buy for investors. However, for position traders, the stock is bearish. The stock is in a downtrend. Price and momentum oscillators are denoting movement downward, are denoting price movement down are denoting that the trend is down. It's still denoting that there's still a breakout. If you are a position trader, avoid the stock first. Let's wait until we actually see it reverse upward. Let's wait until we actually see it form a base and we actually see it start bouncing and going up again. For quick traders though, because of that large drop, I'm seeing a support level at around 5.7 pesos per share. If we see it hold and stay above 5.7 pesos per share, there's a possibility that the stock can bounce and your target price is around 6.1 pesos per share for the short term. So I repeat, for MPI, holds above 5.7, your target price is 6.1. If it fails to hold 5.7, please get out of the stock, please sell, please cut your losses for those who bought at 5.7. So 5.7 stays above 5.7, target price 6.1. If it fails to hold 5.7, cut your losses, stay away from the stock. So that's it. More videos. I'll try to do more over the weekend, over this Chinese weekend. Hope you guys enjoy this season, this holiday with your family. Just to recap, Bloom, position traders, the market, the trend is still up. AC, also the trend is still up. Golden Haven, same thing. Pizza, same thing. MPI, it's going the other direction. The main trend is still bearish as well. So that's it for now. Marvin Germo from Alabama. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. More stocks by request videos again soon.